Once upon a time, I used to be incredibly afraid of public speaking. Know your worth. Know your worth. We're gonna have William there where he's gonna be talking about making more money, but there's gonna be people there that have businesses that are much larger than mine. And I'm actually pretty excited to see what version is going to be in the next 6 years, because the coolest thing is not that I just get to present, but that's just like a small little baby section. It's I get to meet a lot of you that are going to be going. What's up, Scoop Podcast? I'm your host, Erica Kruppen, and on today's Monday's episode, I want to talk about ScoopCon. When you are watching or listening to this video, the following Wednesday, I will be actually flying out to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Well, actually, I think I'm flying into Spokane and then driving to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho in preparation for ScoopCon 2025. I'm very, very excited about that. So in today's episode, I kind of just want to talk about that. I want to share the lead up to this. I want to share with you the emotions and my thoughts that are going on in my head. Talk about the preparation, then I can kind of do a recap afterwards. So if you're interested in hearing all about that, stay tuned. But before I hop into it, you know I gotta do some housekeeping. First of all, first things first, if you have not left a review over on Apple Podcast, I don't wanna beg you. I'm not gonna beg you, but pretty please with sugar on top, I would love to hit 50 reviews by my birthday, which is July 30th, okay? So if you want to give me an early happy birthday gift, go over to Apple Podcast and leave me a 5-star review. And if you actually leave a comment with it, I will read it on the podcast and show you some love, because I appreciate you so much. I create this content. I'm hoping that it reaches the right people. And the only way that that will happen is if reviews are left or people are sharing it. So if on YouTube or whatever, if you know somebody that you think this content could benefit, you think I could connect with them, they can connect with me, go ahead and share it with your friends. Don't be shy. Just go ahead and do that. So I appreciate that. Second, the lights stay on around here because of Jobabber and Poop Scoop Millionaire. Jobabber is the CRM I use to run, grow, and manage my small, hopefully not small for too long, pooper scooper business. It's how I do my customer communication, my routing, my invoicing. They've added new features where we can see insights. I can see how my business is doing this year compared to last year. They also have marketing campaigns built in, which is super awesome. And that two-way text message is fire. I do wish I could send photos though. That's one thing I don't like about the two-way text message. I can receive pictures, but I can't send them pictures through the system, which is kind of whatever. But that's another conversation for another time. Also, on the YouTube channel, I am releasing tutorial videos for Jobabber. So there's going to be a playlist built out right now, releasing one at a time. Some are long, some are short. It's basically just walking through different features of Jobabber. So if you want to know more about Jobabber, go ahead and check those out, please. And in the comments, if you want to see other videos, let me know so I can go deeper into those topics. I think those are going to be super helpful and super beneficial for people that are wanting to use the software and they're confused on things. And it's common questions that I get asked, and so this is a way for me to utilize my time better. Secondly, Poop Scoop Millionaire over on the school community. I create content for them. Many of you know I'm also going to be talking at ScoopCon. That's the reason why I'm talking about this video. I'm super stoked about it. Over on the school platform, if you are having issues with your business, if you're kind of feeling kind of stuck or stagnant, or you're just looking to get into the industry, there's a lot of content. There's courses built out. I think over 900 community members now at this time. The community is growing rapidly. It's absolutely insane. So definitely go over there and check it out. The links will be down below. Okay, enough of that. Now let's get into this. My speaking time is going to be on Saturday after lunch. I hope everybody stays awake for me. And I hope I can remember what it is that I'm going to talk about, because I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. But let's just rewind. Let's stay all the way back to even like 2020. Shortly before that, I was doing some research online because I was having issues in my business with routing, and I was like, this is so ridiculous. I'm driving all over town. I'm going all over the place. I scooped, it was either like 13 or 16 houses. It was something very low, but it took me all day. It was pretty much sun up to sundown. And I had gotten home and realized that I hadn't scooped a property that was like at the beginning of my route, a few cities over. I want to say it was about a 20-minute drive. I got in my truck. I drove back out there. I scooped the yard, and I came home and I was just dog tired. And I was just like bawling my eyes out while I was driving, just sick to my stomach because I'm like, this is stupid. And even though my husband would give me advice, at that time, I wasn't very receptive of his advice. I don't know why. I don't know. I just didn't listen to him by any means. I listen to him much more now. I respect his opinion. I listen to his opinion. I take his advice. Even if I don't necessarily agree with what he's saying fully, I don't shut him down because he's taking the time to offer me advice. I was a very different version of Erica back pre-2020 when I first started this business. So I did some research online and a route density video popped up from Brian Fullerton, and he owns Brian's Lawn Maintenance, and he has a YouTube channel. Now he has a podcast called Fullerton Unfiltered, and he eventually started, it's called Lawntrepreneur Academy, and he has an event, and he's local here in Michigan. So when I seen his videos, I was like, oh, this is so great. He's in the field, he's doing landscaping, he's doing, well, actually, I don't think he did landscaping. He did lawn care, which is very similar to how we do our services. So I was like watching all of his videos, but I watched this one in particular where he was talking about routing and route density and how to route and having boundaries. So I took all of that information, I put it all together. I went and got myself a paper map. I wish I still had it. I threw it away, but I had that. And I like drew out my service area and I decided, okay, I'm servicing this area on this day. This area is going to be this day. I'm going to grow it and then I'm going to service this area on here. And I came up with my boundaries and I made a bunch of changes in my business. And I want to say this was before I was using Jobabber. I was using an app called Circuit. So I had to manually put all my addresses in there and then the app would help me navigate it. But I want to say you could only do 10 addresses at a time for the free version. So then I had to upgrade to the paid version. And then you could only have up to 20, I believe. I think it was up to 20 per stop. But I was growing and it was getting more than that because I was getting up to like 25 houses on Tuesday. I say all that to say, this is how I found the landscaping, the green community was because of that video, which led me to Keith Kalfas, then led me to Paul Jamison and Andrew Martinez, Nailer from Lawn Care Rookie. Who else? You know, it was crazy. I just started meeting a bunch of people. I started listening to their content. And Brian Fullerton was launching a podcast and a live event. Actually, he already had the live event. He did the live event the year prior. And the first live event that I went to for him was during 2020, during the vid. They tried to shut him down, but he figured it out. He booked out the whole entire area and had the whole event broken up into like separate rooms, whatever the number allotment of people that were allowed to be in a room together under the guidelines of COVID. He followed it. So we were broken up into like 5 rooms. But anyways, I went to this event and I couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I was like, all these people are coming here to learn. And I was looking at the speakers and how they got up and they presented. And I seen all the people that were there that were trying to learn about their business and how impacted they were by these influencers or these people that they see online. And I was like, okay, like I see them online. Like it's not a big deal. I've talked to them. And I remember when Brian and Liz walked by me, because Liz is his wife, I got like starstruck. I was like, they're famous. Oh my gosh, I can't talk to them. I was so nervous. I remember I seen Brian. I don't know where he was coming from, but I was on the way to the bathroom. Tell me why I pretended like I didn't see him because I was so nervous. But he was like, Erica, because we had talked. And I was like, oh, hey, how's it going, Brian? I would have walked right past him because I was so nervous. And we chatted for a minute. He's obviously hosting the event, so he had to get back to whatever. But he shook my hand. He said, hey, it's good seeing you. Thanks for coming. Hope you learned something. And I went to the bathroom and I was thinking to myself, like, he's just a regular dude. He's just a regular dude that owns a business that wants to help and wants to serve people. And I've been to 4 of them so far. And from there, like I've went to a couple different events. I'm trying to think. I went to Nailer's LCR Summit in, help me out. Where's it at? Kentucky by Equip Expo. Where else? I don't know. I went to a bunch of places. I've been to a bunch of events and I've like watched these events and I've seen the speakers get up on stage and I've had the conversations with people and I've seen how they've changed their business online. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be a speaker. I want to be a speaker. Do I want to host a live event? Is that what Erica wants to do? Does she actually want to host an event for these people? Spoiler alert, no, I don't want to host. I just want to speak. I want to create content and I want to interact with people. I don't want to have to plan all of that. So that's why I'm very excited that William and his team over there, they did all the planning and they invited me to come and speak. Having said that, once upon a time, I used to be incredibly afraid of public speaking, and I'm going to be talking about this, a little sneak peek. I'm going to be talking about this during my presentation because my presentation is called Courage Over Clout. And leading up to this, when he asked me what I wanted to talk about, I was like, I don't know. I got to kind of figure it out. And we were supposed to sit down and have a meeting and kind of hash it out because I was curious. Like, I wanted to know, like, what do you think I should talk about? Oh, I don't know what to talk about. I don't even know anything, which is crazy. That's just my own self-doubt doing what it does in my brain, where it tries to talk me out of what I've accomplished. It's stupid, but even though I am achieving stuff and doing stuff, I still have those thoughts. So sitting, thinking something about numbers, right? Maybe starting a business from 0 to 100,000, maybe 0 to 2K, talking about the process and being stagnant. I don't know. We're gonna have William there where he's gonna be talking about making more money. Levi is gonna be there where I don't remember what Levi is gonna be talking about actually. I should have looked at the itinerary because the itinerary is live. But there's going to be people there that have businesses that are much larger than mine. So I thought to myself, Erica, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about something that even if you get so scared up there looking at people that you forget what your presentation was even about, you know this so well because you have lived it, you have worked through it, and your heart is so deeply rooted into this that you're still going to be able to give a presentation just like we're hanging out in my truck or we're hanging out in the podcast studio chatting. So we're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about fears. We're going to talk about courage. We're going to talk about what to focus on and what not to focus on. Because through business, I've learned business stuff, but I have grown so much as a person that I feel like that's what I'm the most proud of. Because this version of Erica is so much better than the version of like 2020, 2019 Erica. And I'm actually pretty excited to see what version is going to be in the next 6 years because there's a lot of growth that has happened. And I've been able to document it all, which is pretty awesome. So that's what I decided. And I was thinking about it, but I hadn't like fully confidently been like, all right, this is what I'm doing. I'm going deep with this. And I had a couple things written down and I was just, I don't know, living my life, doing whatever. And I get an email. It was either an email or I got a private message on Facebook from Keith Kalfas. I love Keith Kalfas. He's also a local landscaper business owner, but he also creates content, like a mad amount of content here in Michigan. And he was also a speaker at the Launcherpreneur Academy event a few times. And his call out, or the thing he really likes to cover, is know your worth. Know your worth. He delivers this presentation so well because you can tell it's so deeply rooted in who he is as a person because he went through that pain to figure out and know your worth and be able to charge your worth. And as I've watched him give this speech over and over again, it's been a few times, for me, it doesn't matter. It does not matter how many times I have heard this presentation. It gets better and better every single time. And so when I look at like a content creator, I kind of not mimic what Keith Kalfas is doing, but I'm inspired by what he's doing, how he connects deeply. And even though the topics that he talks about might not be viral topics, they might not get mad views, but they have like deeply impacted me, and I know so many other people. Because even like the reviews, getting reviews from my business, where I would send a message to the customer. This is before I had a review harvest. I had a copy and paste message I would send after every single initial visit, thanking them for allowing me to service them, asking them for a well-worded 5-star Google review, and then I included my link to Google and sent it to them via text message. I got that from Keith Kalfas. And watching his videos where he is just unfiltered, he is raw, he is deep. I appreciate that authenticity. Those videos a lot of times don't do crazy well. He has other videos on there that pop, I mean, millions of views, like over 100,000 subs on YouTube. I don't know how many he has, but over the years I have watched this and I have taken inspiration. So when he asked me to be on his podcast, I was like, of course. But of course I had to shoot my shot because it was a virtual one and he has this bomb studio in like wherever he's got a studio at. So I shot my shot. I was like, I would love to do an interview with you. Is there any way we can do an in-person interview? He shut me down. That didn't happen. But we did do a virtual one online and we did the interview. It was really cool. We went live and then we started talking. Like he wanted to know like what my next moves were. And I said, I'm actually speaking at a conference called ScoopCon and I'm just struggling. I'm struggling on where I want to go with it because if I do this emotional one and I go deep with it, it's gonna be very emotional and I have to give it. Do I want to go deep? And he was like, can you? I said, absolutely. I do believe God has given me the gift to be able to connect with you and be able to share very vulnerable topics. Not a lot of people can do that, and I understand. I don't know why I'm able to do this. I've always been an oversharer. That's because of anxiety. But now I have kind of shifted from the oversharing to I share what I want, but I make it intentional with what I'm sharing. And I gave him the list of ideas of things that I was like, oh, I guess I could cover these. And he was like, go deep, get raw with it. And I was like, yeah, I want to. Because I look up to Keith so much from his content and his stories and watching him be as a presenter, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So that's why I started doing some research and I was like plugging my ideas into ChatGPT and I was like, this is kind of what I want to talk about. This is what I want to cover. Keith Kalfas is the inspiration that I'm kind of inspired by. Like I like his style of content and ChatGPT like knows me, you know, like we're like this, we're besties now. So it's a he, I know it's a he. He understands my style, my vibe. So I was like, give me like 15 titles, you will, for a speech, a presentation that could kind of fit this. So it gave me a bunch of them. I didn't like a lot of them. And then they gave me some, I was like, give me some more. And then there was a couple of them. So I like took a little bit from here and I took a little bit from there and I took a little bit from here and put those together. And I was like, all right, now give me 3 words because I wanted it to be short, kind of like Keith Kalfas's where it's like, know your worth. And then after some working and finally we got it down to courage over clout. I said, I like that. I like that. Okay. All right. So then I was like, I don't know how to write a presentation. I'm not really too sure what to do. I haven't done that before. And Keith sends me a message and he says, check your inbox. I said, okay. And he sent me over speech mapping. A speech mapping paperwork that kind of gives you the frame of how to frame out a presentation. Stop it. Okay, now we got some fundamentals here. So I start building this thing out. I'm using ChatGPT. And if you don't have ChatGPT and you're not using the paid version, I remember I was like, I don't know if I want to pay for it. And I was talking to William. He's like, I'd pay $10,000 a year for this thing. I'm like, what? $10,000? He was like, yep. ChatGPT is my best friend. And I was like, okay. And now I get it, you know, like, I mean, Jobber was my best friend, but Chat's really giving them a run for their money. So anyways, I start putting all my thoughts into there. I talk about like what I want to cover. I want to talk about the different placements. I want to talk about the impact. I want to have a strong hook. I want to have a good close. All of it. I start putting it in there. And I mean, I've been working on this probably for aggressively 3 or 4 weeks. You know, just getting the script together, all the things. And I was feeling pretty good about it. I was like, all right, cool. I'm like rehearsing. And then William's like, oh, make sure you have your slides over to me by Wednesday. I was like, Wednesday? Like the Wednesday before presentation? And he's like, no, the week before. I'm like, what? I don't have slides. Here's the thing is I appreciate the lessons that I'm learning working with William and his team, Samantha, because they're putting in like boundaries and timelines, and that's something that I really struggle with. So seeing how they're organizing stuff and making sure that things are running smoothly, I'm able to bring that back to myself and be like, okay, this is how successful people operate. William is very successful, okay? He's building multiple, has built multiple successful businesses. So success leaves clues. And you have to make sure that if you want to be successful, you have to continuously get yourself in rooms and be around people that are successful that will help you level up. And that is what I have been doing for at least like a year, I would have to say, or a little bit more than a year. And I got the slides done yesterday, like they're done. And I'm like looking at them, I'm like, I feel like they could be better, but this is going to prevent me from changing the slides the day before and like panicking and second guessing myself. Even though I feel very confident about my speech and I'm excited, your girl is still very, very nervous about the whole thing. I'm just like, just don't get up there and forget. But I'm practicing it and rehearsing it every single day. And I'm working on my pauses and the delivery because I want to make sure it hits with the audience. I want to make sure that I'm serving the audience, and when they leave there, they feel not motivated. That's not what I want. I don't want them to feel motivated or inspired, because motivation dies. I want to give the listener and the viewer a mindset change, a mindset shift, because that is what's really important. Motivation is just there for a short period of time, but having that mindset change is what really helped me change a lot of things in my life that needed to be changed, and allows me to continue doing all of that when I'm not feeling very motivated. So I am definitely like engulfed in this whole presentation situation, and I have not been marketing my business like I should. I haven't been reaching out, but it's hard to do a bunch of things at once, and I really need to focus on this. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give myself this, make sure everything's good to go, because I'm flying out next Wednesday, and then I can market and advertise my business and do what I need to do later. But I'll tell you what, I don't feel like any of this would have happened if I wouldn't have made choices in the past, like overcoming my fear of public speaking, then deciding I was going to leave the hospital and go all into my business, and then record a video and document it, and then continue recording videos even when nobody was watching my videos. Continue to upload, and then start the podcast. Andrew Martinez, I'm sorry, I'm like, I need more caffeine. You know, Andrew Martinez really was not on my case, but really just checking in with me like, hey, you said you wanted to start a podcast, you haven't done it yet. Josh bought you the equipment, you haven't done it yet. And he would check in with me periodically. And I even went to Pod Row that Naylor puts on and checked that out, and I chickened out to actually like host a podcast on Pod Row. I was a guest on several of the podcasts, but I didn't host because I was just scared. But you know, I hired Mr. Producer right away, so I had accountability and I had help, and I figured out how to pay for that because I didn't have any sponsors in the beginning, and the Pooper Scooper business had to pay for that, and Mr. Producer was very kind to me and really helped me out and mentored me, and now we're at like 160 something episodes. Let me look to see, what is this? This is going to be episode 146 that's going to be released. That's a lot of episodes. For over a year and a half, we just did one episode a week, and now we're up to 2 episodes per week. And if I wouldn't have just continuously made these decisions and putting myself out there, I wouldn't have been able to connect with William, because I put out there a 6-figure business, and I was nervous to talk about my 6-figure business. It came across his YouTube. I don't know if he was researching it or he just watched one of my videos. I'm not really too sure, but he decided to leave a comment on there, and I was like, you have a 7-figure business? I would love to chat with you. And then from there we had conversations, and our relationship grew, and the Poop Scoop Millionaire grew, and then he's doing all sorts of wild, crazy things, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it. Because like I said, I'm not interested in hosting an event. I just want to be there. I want to create content. I want to mingle with people, and I want to like be intentional and have a good time. I don't want to have to deal with all of that stuff behind the scenes. Listen, I threw my own wedding. Like, I planned that whole thing. I never want to do that ever again. Like, ever. Never. I don't even know how I did it. I'm not interested. And doing these events, it's just like planning a wedding and planning a reception. And the coolest thing is not that I just get to present, but that's just like a small little baby section. It's I get to meet a lot of you that are going to be going, that are going to be there, and I get to see your face. I get to shake your hand, maybe give you a hug. I get to hear your story, because I don't know how long it's been that you've been listening to me and watching me, but it's like I haven't been able to see you. I haven't been able to hear your voice. I get to interact with you in the comment section, but this is going to be a very full circle moment for me. And I I am hoping I don't cry. I might cry, maybe just a little bit. That's okay. But I want to make sure that I stay focused and I keep my energy up, because even though I'm excited about this and I want to have fun, you guys know I'm a businesswoman, and so I'm going there with intention. Intentionality. I want to make sure that I am getting content. I want to make sure that I'm staying on track. We're getting the shots because I want to have this content for the social to be able to share it. And so because of that, I reached out to my friend Paul Jamison. I've seen him at many, many events, and I have watched Paul. I've watched how he is very much so business. Even though he's chatting and he's socializing, he's still business focused, and he's making sure to get the content that he is getting. And when we were in Vegas together, it was just us the day before filming for Masters of Home Service, the Jobabber podcast. We were hanging out for a little bit, and then he was like, all right, it's game time. Like, we got to record. I'm getting in the zone. So I got to see like how an influencer actually acts out in the wild, because I don't have anybody like that around me. I'm the only, like, I don't even call myself an influencer, just a content creator. And it's weird. And so I got to see like, yep, he stops, he sets up his shot, he's looking, he records. It didn't go well. That's okay. We'll re-record it again. And that was something that I kind of felt bad about when my husband and I we would be recording content and I would ask him to record. He would get a little bit frustrated with me. But he says he gets it now. Like, he understands that it's not slow, it's not fast, it's not living in the moment. It has to be incredibly intentional to make sure you're getting the shot that you need. And Josh has been helping a lot with this. So leading up to this, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna be chatting with people. I wanna make sure that I get some interviews. I wanna make sure that I keep my energy up. And I gotta make sure that I got somebody to record. So I hit Paul up. I said, hey, Paul, can I book a coaching call with you? I need a plan. I need an exact plan of how I'm gonna be super intentional when I go to ScoopCon. I'm gonna be able to give the presentation. I'm gonna be able to get the content that I want and not leave empty-handed. I want to have so much content that my editor is like, huh, I don't know what to do. And I'm able to pump out content for months and months at a time. And so he sat down with me. He told me exactly what I needed to do. He told me how I need to have Josh line up the shots for my presentation, because we got to make sure that I record me and I'm mic'd up, and the type of interviews to do with people and not be nervous. Feel the people out. If they don't feel like they're comfortable on camera, they don't want to talk, don't force them, but find people that want to be on camera, they want to be interviewed, they want to be asked questions. Have a list of questions that are ready to go, the kind of questions to ask. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to ask? What am I going to say? And be able to just make the people that I'm interviewing feel so comfortable, because that's what Paul did when he would interview me. That's how Brian was when he would interview me. Same thing with Naylor, and who else has interviewed me? Mac, Attack on the Mac. Same thing with Andrew Martinez. So I've collected all of this information over the years by being around these people and also like practicing it with them, seeing how they made me feel. So it's super intentional going into this. I put a lot of thought, and I'm thinking to myself, like, William has his whole entire presentation and he's got to plan this whole event. Whew, man, could it be me? But that's why I'm excited to be associated with folks that can handle things like this. Super excited. Is there anything that I'm worried about? I don't know. I just want to make sure that I'm able to deliver the words that I need to do, and I'm able to connect with the audience, and when they leave, they feel like they got value from what I'm talking about. I hope that my husband lines me up in the shot in the middle. I hope that he gets a front row Joe seat and my microphone's working and it's recording. And I hope I don't get sick when I come home, because next month I'm going to Mexico and I'm going back to Vegas. So I need to do like an IV bag or something like that. But I am incredibly excited. I can't wait to share with you how this went. And if you're going, I cannot wait to meet you. Please come up and say hi to me. And don't be afraid if I shove my microphone in your face, because we're just having fun. We're just hanging out. We're just chatting. So I appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to actually hang this up, drink some water, go to the restroom, and then record Wednesday's episode, the Q&A, because I batch record both my videos on Thursdays, because that's the best day for me to do it. So I appreciate you so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, bye.